Hello, and welcome to Mario Mayhem, where each episode consists of me looking over a certain Mario game and telling you a brief history about the game and my thoughts of the game itself. So today's episode, I'm going to be telling you a brief history behind Donkey Kong, as well as my thoughts on the game itself. So, without further ado, let's get started. Donkey Kong is one of the most famous arcade games ever made, and it is the first game to feature the beloved plumber, Mario, who at the time was actually a carpenter as originally named Jumpman. What makes Donkey Kong so unique from the rest of the arcade games at the time was that Donkey Kong was the first game to have different stages. At the time, an arcade game would just have one stage repeating over and over again. The only change is that the difficulty increases until the player runs out of lives. Nintendo's original plan for the game was to have it based on the beloved cartoon character, Popeye the Sailor, who recently had a box office movie released. Popeye would play similar to Mario, Olive Oyl would play similar to Pauline, and Bruto would play similar to Donkey Kong. The plan fell through due to the fact that Nintendo failed to get a licensing agreement, so Nintendo's next plan was to make the game based off of a gorilla, a woman, and a man. Due to Nintendo's struggles to appeal towards the Western demographic, they decided to give the game an English title due to the fact that this game is trying to be appealing towards that audience. Shigeru Miyamoto decided to come up with names for the game, and he decided to name the game after the ape. And after going through several different names, he came up with the name Donkey Kong, and due to the fact that he believes that the name means stupid ape. The game didn't receive positive feedback at first from critics due to the fact that the game was different, and many critics actually asked Nintendo to change the name due to how weird and stupid the name is. Nintendo stubbornly refused and believed that this game was going to be a home run. And they were right, as Nintendo made $280 million in just their first 2 years alone. This game was a massive success in North America, and it made Nintendo a household name. Donkey Kong's success caused the game to be released on practically every single home console and PC that was out at the time, including the Atari 2600, which was the most famous home console at the time. The game was also eventually going to be released on the Nintendo Entertainment System, which was Nintendo's first ever home console. At this point, Donkey Kong was one of the most famous video game characters, with the ape not only being in a ton of different gaming platforms, but also having its own plush dolls, his own cartoons, and even his own board game. It's safe to say that Donkey Kong was a phenomenon in the early 80s, but that was almost about to come to an end. About a year after the game's release, Universal found out about the game's huge success, and to say the least, they were not happy. And the reason was that they saw Donkey Kong's infringement towards the trademark character, King Kong. Universal went to every single company that invested in Donkey Kong and demanded them to pay royalties. Most of them said yes, most notably ColecoVision. The thing was, Nintendo had no idea that Universal was doing this to their partnered up companies until Universal met with them. They demanded Nintendo to pay them royalties for them ripping off King Kong, but Nintendo actually refused. This frustrated Universal as they filed a lawsuit against Nintendo for the copyright infringement. Nintendo looked like they were dead due to a much higher company suing them, but they put up a fight. They hired John Kirby to lead this case against Universal, and he found out something that would change Nintendo's fortunes in this battle. It turns out that King Kong was not even owned by Universal, and it was a public domain character, meaning that it isn't even a trademark granting company. So because of this, the judge ruled in favor of Nintendo, and they were angry by Universal for knowing they didn't even know King Kong, yet they still sued Nintendo. So because of this, Universal was forced to pay all Nintendo's legal fees, and they were actually sued by a lot of companies that Universal demanded to pay royalties, due to the fact that they were scammed over by the company into paying something that they didn't even own. Nintendo was very proud of John Kirby, with them rewarding Kirby with a $30,000 boat labeled, you guessed it, Donkey Kong. John Kirby is also the inspiration for another new IP in 1992, with the company naming a pink puffball after his last name, which you all know today as Kirby. And from March 2017, Komodo Speak decided to make this whole entire month called Kirby Month, and decided to celebrate all of Kirby's games and all of his accomplishments by releasing a review for Kirby's Dream Land, and planned on viewing the anime. But unfortunately, he shut down his channel shortly after, and Kirby Month went down with him. We sure will miss you, Komodo. Well, so that was a history lesson on Donkey Kong. Now for my review. Well, I honestly loved the game. The game had a simple story, the game was hard but not unfair, and it's just addicting to play. So because of all this, I'm going to give Donkey Kong a 92. it's just really fun. I can understand why it's a classic. That's all I have to talk about. This is Dib, and I'll see you next time, where I'll be talking about Donkey Kong Jr.
Here we go, so divinely here, performing for you. You know the words you can join in too. Put your hands together.